future leaning in terms of how they're going to go ahead and rebuild the world using Musk as their tool.
So
But
we can ask
it won't
Anis
come
about
to
that.
fruition. It won't come to fruition. Wait, I have to pause for a second. Someone wants me to do a market recap. So, Donish, you want to go ahead and jump in?
Really quickly, just on that note, though, I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure I saw a clip of Musk talking about the tariffs. I think yesterday, saying he disagrees with the tariffs.
Yeah, I was going to go into all of that actually.
Perfect.
Right. Let's do a quick recap of what's actually happened. Good morning, everybody. Sorry I was a little bit late, and then it took me 10 minutes to actually get up on stage. So, standard spaces stuff. But really quickly, let's start with what has been happening, right? So, end of last week, if you weren't paying attention, the Dow posted back-to-back losses of more than 1,500 points for the first time ever, including a 2,231 point loss on Friday. S&P lost about 6% on Friday, uh, which is its worst performance since March 2020. Together combined, we are close to 1987 numbers. We'll see how the open goes today. But the Nasdaq is now it entered a quote unquote bear market, depending on your definition, on Friday, down 22% from its all time high, after losses on Thursday and Friday of 6% each. The most important thing that happened was on Saturday, Trump's initial 10% tariff went into effect. So there is now a unilateral 10% tariff that went into effect on Saturday. There was a lot of talk, Bill Ackman and the like, who wanted the news from the Trump administration that, hey, we're negotiating, we're gonna move this a few weeks, and that this on Wednesday we're supposed to have the reciprocal tariffs. That 34% tariff additional on our friends in China, that takes effect on Wednesday. So again, it's coming. It's not like 2 weeks from now. It's going into effect on Wednesday. And so, Bill Ackman and everybody else was saying, hey, uh, we may want to move that so we can have we may want to move the start of those tariffs because maybe we want to negotiate. And Trump comes out Sunday evening on the market sell off and he says the words, I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something. He also said,
Did you take offense to that as a doctor? Did you not like that
well,
analogy?
the only offense I took to it was that he keeps using physician analogies, medical analogies. You can't both say that we're going to go operate and the operation is complete and say we're going to take medicine unless it's like some, some protocol. But it's okay. He was messing up his medical analogies, but that's okay.
Should have used a chiropractor because we're seeing a bit of a market adjustment.
Oh God. All right. So then Trump said, we have $1 trillion trade deficit with China. Hundreds of billions of dollars a year we lose with China. Interesting. And unless we solve that problem, I'm not going to make a deal. So for people that are not aware, China actually produces things that we don't produce. They have what I would call essentially slave labor that we don't have, and so of course they have a deficit. They make really really cheap things.
They screw together the iPhone.
That's right. Which Howard Lutnick came out and he said, what would be really great if uh, young Americans could go in and put those tiny, tiny little screws into iPhones. I was like, oh my God, this dude.
But Dr.
And then he was like, oh, we'll automate it, and then everybody's going to be a robot mechanic. And I was like, Jesus Christ, Lutnick, just stop. And
that is the point, though, right? If you want to work 7 days a week for with no holidays,
like in China,
if you go to China,
like in China, by the way,
they work like insane for tiny amounts. And if you want your iPhone to cost the same, like it's not possible. The strategy doesn't Makes sense.
Well, the only strategy is robotics, but and that will enrich all of them because they own all the robots. But I was going to say, Besson comes out and says that more than 50 countries have approached the administration for negotiations, but cautioned they've been bad actors for a long time, and it's not the kind of thing you can negotiate away in days or weeks. Super important, because what that means is if the tariffs are going into effect on Wednesday, they are going into effect on Wednesday unless there is a last minute audible and they move the start date of the tariffs, which again, they have continuously said they won't. So it is now again, this could be, they could do it and say art of the deal. Like they could do all of that kind of crazy stuff. But it's just like the global economy. So we'll see if that kind of shit works there. So this morning, I want to do a quick market recap. Hopefully that was helpful for everybody. That's kind of the overall, here's what's happened. All right. Now it's what are other countries doing? What are we gonna see? Well, we at this point have seen other countries start talking. So last night, by the way, circuit breakers went off. We actually did like an impromptu space. Uh, Taiwan circuit breaker went off. Singapore was close. I think I'm missing. There was one other country.
Important regarding Taiwan and now India. Short selling is effectively banned, right?
That's right.
Though that's a very important technical move. We don't do that in this country, but it is
Oh, there you go.
technical
Got it.
because we don't know what's being saved. How what
So,
really is the downside?
so by the way, over the course, I'm gonna walk through every uh, stock drop that matters. I think, but overall, $6.4 trillion. $6.4 trillion was wiped out from the global economy in just 12 hours. Hong Kong led the losses with a 13.2% drop. Taiwan had over a 9% drop. Japan had an over 9% drop overnight, by the way. Italy had over an 8% drop. Singapore had nearly an 8% drop. China, the Shanghai index, was over 7% drop. And Germany was